the home of victory. Impeccable victory this year. 9 games at Brookie for 9 victories. Some games they need building up, but that doesn't apply to this one tonight. Manly with this record, this phenomenal record here, and the Storm runaway leaders in the competition, aiming for their 13th straight victory. They haven't lost since round 10 more than 3 months ago. And the Storm beaten only once away from home this year. Slater, of course, goes up against Stewart. That in itself has probably attracted 90% of this monster crowd. They've both scored 11 tries this season. Billy 123 from 200 and Brett 109 from 134 games. Just the one change to the team that beat the Dragons. Running out with the Eagles tonight is Alex Marr. We've shown you pictures of him before. He has cerebral palsy and came to the club years ago in a wheelchair. He was told he'd never walk again. Working with the Eagles physio and strength and conditioning coach, Alex's goal was finally achieved in 07 when he became strong enough to run out with the team. He now works part-time, by the way, at Ian Thorpe Aquatic Centre. Also going out with the team tonight were the Forestville under-6s. Well, there he is, Brett Stewart. He debuted in the same year as Slater, 2003, but he's 2 years the younger of the great fullbacks. 59 tries in 62 games here at Brookvale. Jamie Lyon, the captain, he pulled a hamstring in Melbourne. He was gone before half-time, and Steve Maddai didn't play. I think significantly, Manly were down in the centres at Amy. They're not tonight. It's a great atmosphere. So buckle your seats. Here we go with just a sneak preview of September and maybe the first Sunday in October. Smith kicks off. Melbourne left to right. The kick is too big. Oh, it could have been let go. And they got away with it, Manly. No, they didn't. It's a line dropout. I'm sure it could have been let go completely. There mustn't have been any communication.
Well, Brent Kite had his leg on the dead ball line. All he has to do is touch the ball first, and it's a penalty to Manly. But someone has sharked the ball in front of him. And then the knock-on occurred. What an incredible start to the game.
Cherry Evans then with a dropout that's floated within 5 metres of the sideline, and a strong carry from Jamin Lowe. One of those that have been resurrected into this Manly team, into this Melbourne team. Brian Norrie, another example, playing the ball on the 20-metre line, and Lowe goes up for another take-up. He'll play the ball 10 metres out right in front of the uprights. Right in front of the Fulton Menzies stand down at the southern end. Out to Kostjason, then to Slater, now to Champion. And a good tackle from Matai. Slater again. A dummy half to Kostjason. Now to Adam Blair. Glenn Stewart's arm just creeping up a little bit, but Shane Hayne just applying a bit of discretion. There was nothing malicious or foul about it, really, as it goes back and across now for Widdop to put the kick down to David Williams, and he does well. Leading with his right knee as he sailed through the air.
Yeah, he got good cover there from Jamie Lyon as well, who brings it out now. An early opportunity for Melbourne, completely unexpected. How many restarts have we seen mucked up this season? Fortunately for the home team, it didn't hurt them as Nullavow tackled in his own 25.
Lowry, the tackler, is in the run-on side tonight. Bromwich, the man missing from the squad last Friday night, as Ballon starts them going down the right side with Joe Nullavow, a member of the oldest pack in the competition. But at the moment, second favourites to win that competition and outright favourites to win tonight. Slater goes down low and brings it back effectively, and dodging and dazzling and sidestepping and linking with Champion. And he's tackled out on the 40-metre line. Slater and Stewart, they wouldn't need very much coaching coming into this game.
Well, the great players make things look easy. Billy Slater there, it was flying, so here he comes now. The kick through, he just plucked it out and took off at full speed as he always does.
Proctor playing the ball outside the 30-metre line. So Melbourne going back into Manly's back territory, and Blair it is that'll play the ball. 25 out, straight down the middle, as Melbourne so often do. They play a fairly simple game plan before they decide to spread it and hit you, or it might be Slater up the middle. Played to Smith after Proctor ran the ball. Smith puts a little kick in. Robertson goes back and puts a shadow across it. Slater picks himself up off the turf about 8 metres out from the try line. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, he got a little check-in running. I don't think it was too dramatic. There's a good tackle there from Kieran Foran on Proctor.
So just outside the 40-metre line with Cherry Evans now. This youngster, this rookie who hasn't missed a game all season from memory. Not many have done that. That's Shane Rodney with it. Playing the ball 5 metres into Melbourne's area, and you can hear the crowd in the background. It's a really big crowd. I don't know that they could have put any more in here tonight, with safety uppermost in your mind anyway. Here's Stewart with it, Glenn Stewart. He'll play the ball just outside that 30-metre line. Melbourne's end of the ground. Lyon from the blind, coming the open. Brett Stewart, double pump. Rodney goes up the middle to reach the 20-metre line. Shane Rodney then, playing it to Ballon. Ballon to Foran. Foran puts a kick in. It might be too big. It's been batted back infield by Robertson. Watmo's put the pass right across the ground, and Kite gets it onto Cherry Evans. Brilliant jump in the kick, the aerial there for Robertson. Lyon kicks ahead. The referee turns. He doesn't know where the ball is. But I'll tell you what, Kieran Foran knows where it is. Kieran Foran has scored for Manly.
Well, I'd have to say the most remarkable try I've seen all season. Incredible. And look at the reaction from the crowd. The kick from that man, it was going over the sideline. But Michael Robertson, still underrated in some quarters, a great job. Maddie keeps it alive. Watmo throws the cutout pass. Brent Kite, he sees a better player in the kick department, but good vision there from Daly Cherry Evans, and a quite remarkable kick from Jamie Lyon that Kieran Foran races up the middle to regather and score.
Just an absolute freakish try. As we welcome our networks taking the coverage tonight, wherever you might be. Well, the ball allowed to bounce. Slater loves to take them on the full, but he couldn't get anywhere near it. Well, back at Brookvale, and the crowd going absolutely berserk, with Kieran Foran scoring on the end of what Peter has said, and I think he's right. The most sensational try of the year. Wally Lewis.
And what made that try even more spectacular for the Manly Sea Eagles, the conditions down here tonight are a little bit slippery at Brookvale. The Kine replay will just show the absolute quality of this try, the perfection of skills of jumping for the football, tapping it back, and the Manly players making themselves available, looking for another opportunity out wide. Melbourne didn't come up out of the line. They remained pretty stagnant in their defence to get back, but a quick bounce of the ball, your luck changes pretty quick. 6 points on the board.
As Brent Kite brings it back from the restart of play.
Well, I think individually David Meads regathered to score. Most remarkable by one person, but as a team effort, that's incredible. And here they come again. That time Watmo, left side, where he favours.
I wonder just what it's done to the level of confidence in the Manly unit, and what it's done on the other side of the equation with Melbourne. Can't go through them. Let's go over the top of them, and that's what they did. And that ball will go down over the dead ball line, or will it? No, it's not going to. Slater has to bring it back, and oh, he's hit by Foran. Got it back into the field of play, though.
Well, after the first mishap on the first play of the game, everything has bounced Manly's play ever since. The ball sitting up for them in the in goal there. Billy's got to run it. Watch this. Whack! In they go. A free shot on the champion fullback.
He's not well either, Slater. He's clutching at his upper part of his right arm.
Yeah, I think he got an accidental set of knees from Glenn Stewart, who was the second player in behind Kieran Foran. They came in at speed, but he got the job done. He got back into the field to play as Gareth Widdop. That's a big strike, but Robertson well positioned.
Robertson off his 20. Back down to the 40-metre line goes Michael Robertson, taken by Jamin Lowe. Now from line, it's found David Williams. 2 grand finals they've played against one another. Melbourne got them in 07, Manly got them in 08. Nullival, he'll play the ball 42 metres out from the Melbourne line. Foran takes Cherry Evans with him. Cherry Evans desperately tackled by Norrie. Here's Foran again. He spins out of a 2-man tackle. Gets it over to Rodney. Rodney to Matai. Then to Robertson off his left foot. But he's pulled out a couple of metres out. Played back to Matai now. And it's picked up on the half volley, but it's been knocked down. It's advantage to Melbourne. And Duffy it is with the ball. Inside his own 20-metre line.
It's amazing how often one mistake leads to another. Poor pass out of Dumming, half off the juggle. And then the poor pass there at 4 and knocks it on under too much pressure. I'll tell you what you've got here tonight, Rabbits. You've got some old-fashioned tribalism here tonight. Oh, poor old Joe, he doesn't know what tribe he's in.
Well, yeah, I was about to say they'll need to stop play here because he's...
That's 3, hold it there.
He's right amongst the Melbourne Storm players. He's having a wonderful season for them, Joe Nullival. He travels a long way to meet his commitments.
Yeah.
It might have been a bit of friendly fire.
Make sure he's right, yeah, make sure he's right, boys.
Yeah, he's got a back elbow, I think. This crowd is so intense at the moment. I mean, I love the big stadiums when they're full and the great facilities, but there's something about an old-fashioned tribal crowd at a suburban ground.
Did you get a park, Rabs?
Brookvale Public School, they always look after us. They're lovely people. Good school. Played then by Lowry. Thank you for the lead in, Peter. Here's Norrie. And he's knocked on. He's not necessarily convinced.
Have a look at the crowd up over the hill. Look how many you've got standing around the back. You know, you've got 4 or 5 lanes there standing right up the back of the hill. That's when you know you've got a serious number in a suburban ground. And this is pretty much all Manly here tonight. They want blood, the locals.
Yeah, there's not many purple jumpers or beanies or scarves up in amongst this crowd.
Well, he was dispossessed there, Brian Norrie, by the arm of Glenn Stewart, but again, it was a poor carry.
Gavin Badger trying to get himself a nice scrum. Eventually he does. And Watmo standing out of that scrum is taken in a 3-man Melbourne tackle, and they take their time, if you know what I mean, in putting him down. That's all part of the art of slowing the attack down. Here's Jamie Lyon, and he's taken by Nielsen, and he throws him onto the ground, and Lyon could have played on, but Widdop and Smith got involved. Here's Williams taking it up inside the 30-metre line. Smith down low. He leaves the upper body part to the bigger men, and you'll find him channeling in around the legs more often than not. Here's Stewart going out to Matai, and Matai is taken in another desperate tackle by Melbourne, that time from Jason. Now through Foran again to Kite. Kite to Cherry Evans, then to Joe Nullival. He puts a little kick in. There's a chance here for them, but Billy Slater boots it dead.
Well, that'll do me. Big Joe. Not only have I never seen him kick before, but he's been knocked out 30 seconds ago, and he's putting in the weight perfect grubber kick into the in goal with a little bit of slant on it. He's chasing it himself. and the Melbourne Storm desperate to get it over the dead ball line. Joe Nullavow, where does he pull that from?
Well, I hope he remembers it, because it's worth remembering.
Well, he's obviously got stunned and woken up and think he's a halfback.
Nothing wrong with dreaming. Sometimes they come true. Joe, when he wakes up, he might have a 7 on his back. Here's Shane Rodney. And it's a long run, really, before he found the defence line. 25 away then from the Melbourne line. 6-0 in favour of Manly. And Brent Kiter's tackle with the ball. Foran got the try on the back of a spectacular effort at the 5th minute of the game. Cherry Evans, Glenn Stewart, Jamie Lyon tried to battle across for David Williams, but it's found the sideline on the eastern side of the ground.
They don't normally get it wrong, those three blokes, when they get a little bit of an opportunity. So they've got 3 on 2, and they weren't quite sure just how to finish that off. Normally they nail that when they create the space. Stewart, Lyon, great combination on that right side.
Well, he knew, Glenn Stewart, that David Williams was in a bit of space out there, but the pass was misdirected behind David Williams. And you can't waste opportunities against this Melbourne Storm team. When you've got them down in their own 20, you need to pitch your tent and keep persevering as they work it away now from well inside their own 20.
Duffy will play the ball. 20 out from his line. Smith just goes a couple of paces before giving it to Norrie, but they're not going anywhere at the moment. Manly is compressed up in the middle. Here's Smith finding a gap. Brent Kite went up and put a hit on a player without the ball, but Smith plays it now just short of the halfway line, and coming up with the ball is Widdop, and Gareth will play the ball pretty much on the halfway line in the Bundaberg Friday night football sign. Back for Smith to clear with his left foot. Down it goes to bounce on the 10, and Brett Stewart's away on his way back up the ground.
We heard from Ollie Lewis earlier saying that it is a slippery surface out there, and Brett Stewart actually lost his footing before the ball arrived. So changing angles and that might be difficult, especially defensively.
Robertson playing the ball over on the right side of the ground, though he's playing on the left wing. And Brent Kite goes straight up the middle, running it at Cameron Smith. Jamin Lowe had a piece of it with Lowry. Here's Glenn Stewart down that right side with Jamie Lyon. David Williams was ready for it, but Jamie will play the ball. 8 metres into Melbourne's half. 6-0 in favour of Manly. Here's Joe Nullavow with the ball. Tackled outside the 30-metre line, down the middle of the ground. And so Ballon goes to Cherry Evans, and he puts his right foot under it. It's gone very, very high. Slater might have moved across there as a block. In fact, I'm sure he did, but nothing is said about it. Anthony Quinn is with the ball.
Shows you the little systems they have, the Melbourne Storm, in their team. I mean, when that ball went up in the air, there was never any intention for Billy Slater to catch. He just figures that's where the ball comes down. That's my winger's ball. But they would practice that religiously at training, that, you know, where the ball's going to land, it'll be someone's obligation to take it and someone else's obligation to run decoy for them.
Replay showed you Slater running across, putting himself in the pathway of the down the ground Manly players. Could easily have given a penalty. Here's Brett Stewart with the ball, and then Matai bats it across to Robertson, and Robertson will play the ball 15 metres his side of halfway.
And another bounce there favouring Manly. It was kicked straight into the back of Shane Rodney. Miss hit by Cameron Smith, so they come up in good field position again. Ryan Hinchcliffe into the game for the Melbourne Storm.
Nullavow has come from the field.
And Darcy Lussick was put out there by Des Hasler.
So through the halfback, it's gone to line. He dabs one down, and David Williams, it's come off him and gone back, but it's gone forward.
Wow.
Shane Hayne, right on the spot.
David Williams, look, this Manly side's so aggressive tonight, and David Williams does not hesitate. I think Billy Slater does. Let's have a look. Through it goes. Slater sort of thinks, and Williams is there. Bang. Nearly plucked it out of the air, and unfortunately knocked it forward before Lyon picked it up. But that's the difference just in the opening stanza at the moment. The Manly players are so confident and aggressive And even a great player like Billy Slater there, a little hesitant as to whether to go for the ball or not.
So Melbourne very much on the defence. Quinn might have enjoyed the first couple of minutes down in Manly's backyard, but certainly since that time it's all been down the northern end of Brookvale. This is Hinchcliffe in 14, out towards halfway now. Nearly 18 minutes of this game gone, and we've had a spectacular start in more ways than one. Here's Proctor running off a pass from Koss Jason. Just on the Manly side of halfway, and played back for Slater, a dummy half to Koss Jason, who is a New South Wales born player. In fact, he played juniors up on the Central Coast. There's another one of our Central Coast team we're putting together. Here's the kick down the ground. Oh, Robertson has knocked it back to Brett Stewart. And Stewart goes up the middle, tackled on the 40-metre line. Penalty goes to Manly. Players everywhere were appealing for a penalty, and they got one.
Well, that could have been so much worse. I mean, he's bombed the bomb, but then managed to get it back to Stewart, who makes good ground through some sliding defence, and then comes up with the penalty off the back of it. So everything going with the home side at the moment. They'd like another try just to put the exclamation point on their early dominance.
Foreign, and that's Lussick in jumper number 14.
I like this kid.
Ballon keeps it going right side for Rodney. And Shane Rodney just inside the 30-metre line. Melbourne's in. Here's Cherry Evans, and dragging around the legs. There's Brian Norrie. Doing a lot of tackling, Norrie. Stewart away now to Lussick, and Lussick is taken down. 15 metres out from Melbourne's line. Ballon this time. Foreign now. Then it goes short. Watmo's with the ball. Proctor goes over the top. Smith goes down low. Last tackle Manly. Numbers left side. Foreign, little kick in, and it's been battered by Slater again. Another line drop out for Melbourne.
Yeah, heady play there from Kieran Foran. He didn't panic. He's happy to play with patience. By going sideways, he opened up a nice hole to kick through. Slater there, but that's a great result. No try. I'll get the ball back. As I said, when you're down there, you want to keep Melbourne down there.
Toyota Cup tonight went to the Storm over Manly, 40 points to 0, and that win guarantees the Storm the 2011 club championships. Cameron then with another line drop out for Melbourne. It's a big drop kick, and it's taken by Foreign right on halfway. Lussick goes back, runs into Woolnough. Together with Hinchcliffe, they put him to ground.
I like him.
Ballon across now for Shane Rodney, and he takes a heavy hit up top there from Adam Blair. Hinchcliffe down below. They're down to the 20-metre line again. Cherry Evans goes inside, goes to Stewart. Glenn now it comes over to Foreign. Foreign decides to take on the line, and he's a strong little fellow, and he'll play the ball 15 out from the line now. Played back to Steve Matai. Now for Watmo. Behind, and it goes through Ballon to Cherry Evans. He decides to have a go, puts a sprint on, gives it the line to David Williams. Oh, bodies going everywhere. Signage going as well.
Let's get the scrum going, fellas.
And it's going to come back for a scrum, loose head and feed for Melbourne.
Well, they've been really dominant, Manly, but they only lead 6-0, so you've got to give great credit to the Melbourne Storm for hanging in here. And I guess you're thinking at some stage possession and field position will turn, and whether or not Manly will defend their own line as grimly as Melbourne. I really think Manly need another try now just to put a stamp on this dominance they've had. Otherwise they'll feel a little bit cheated, leading only by 6.
Smith at the back of the scrum. Now for Duffy, and Duffy is forced down, and it's vigorous and it's aggressive from Manly. Watmo and Rodney, and now Woolnough knocks on. Ballon will play the ball 9 metres away.
Yeah, double knock on.
Another knock on there is. So it's going to be a loose head and feed for Manly in front of the uprights.
Yeah, well, time and place. Manly needs to come up with a try here. This is time and place. This is where you ram home your advantage. They've been easily the better side, dominant, more aggressive, only lead by 6. They can take a giant leap here, right now.
Okay, I'll look at it. Over the top line.
All heads in, Todd. Stay in there, mate. Stay there, Rory. Close.
Big moment in the game.
Melbourne seconds.
Can Manly find the line again? Here's Jamie Lyon. He goes behind a decoy. Brett Stewart's into his back line. David Williams. He's over the line, but he's held up.
Look at the Melbourne jerseys there.
Take it out to Shane, thanks.
They got 5. They established a little bit of an overlap, but you've got Nielsen, you've got Widdop, you've got Slater.
I think we've got an injury.
Yeah, we have Gavin Badger waving to the Manly trainer, I think.
Anthony Quinn was the main man. He took the first brunt, and there's, you can see David Williams clutching his right elbow.
All the Storm players wouldn't move. They all heard the scream, I think, and look at, they're still nursing him. Billy Slater is still nursing him. He won't move just to risk injury to an opposition player.
He's had a season punctuated with injury, unfortunately, David Williams. And Des Hasler was getting Tony Williams ready to come into this game. Now, this might change the way he was going to use Williams if they do lose David.
I think in trying to keep that ball up, he may well have suffered a little bit of a dislocation here.
All right, well, the right people are out there with David Williams. We'll take a break at 6-0 in favour of Manly, halfway through the first half here at Brookie. And back at Brookvale, a sombre Brookvale now, after they were ecstatic earlier on with that wonderful try, and of course they've had some magnificent entertainment here, but now one of their heroes, David Williams, has got what appears to be a shoulder problem. He didn't play any football last year through shoulder problems. They're saying shoulder and neck.
Yeah, look, it might be one of these strained nerve things that a couple of players have had, not the least of which was young Dwyer from the Tigers, and I know Luke Lewis has been suffering with the same sort of injury this year at the Panthers, and it can cause a lot of pain or numbness down the arm, and it seems to be the neck area they're worried about, which is giving him trouble in his shoulder. So when they call for the stretcher, they're just taking precaution. Let's hope it's not that serious.
I think his teammate on the other side of the field, Steve Maddai, is pretty much chronic in that department. Seems to have played a couple of seasons with that kind of problem up around the neck, shoulder area. But David Williams, he was back in the kind of form that saw him represent New South Wales a couple of seasons ago. On his day or night, he's an outstanding finisher. But again, look at the Melbourne Storm players. They got 5 in total over in the corner to deny him.
I just like the way all the Melbourne Storm players knew he was hurt, and they all just said, "Hey, everyone, don't go rushing in here. Don't everyone move." There was 3 of them sat there, not moving. So they're all very aware, these players, even if their opposition teammates, of the importance or the danger in these types of injuries.
It's very important we sort of point that out again, because it is an indication that though they might, they're playing a violent game. It's a brutal game, but at the end of the day, they're the first ones there to help each other in a time like this.
And as you say, the right people are out there, and I do wonder now how Des Hasler will react to this with Tony Williams. I think that he would have wanted Williams to have operated somewhere in the back row for the bulk of his minutes out there tonight, but he may have to play wider. Of course, he is a centre winger from earlier in his career. He has been used in the back row a fair bit of late.
And this can be a little bit of a momentum turner too. I mean, you know, now the players are starting to cool down a little bit, and they're starting to move around some of the Melbourne Storm players just to keep loose and keep supple. And Lassick out there now starting to do some stretching and some side-to-side stuff to keep himself warm. Players won't know how long this delay is going to take.
I noticed they've taken another frame out there to put David on. We'll take a break and come back to Brookvale in just a moment. He was running, Peter was talking about David Williams in his best form. He's quite lethal. Tonight, I noticed he was running with the aggressiveness and the vigor of the David Williams of a couple of years ago. So this troop of people that are all well versed in how to handle injuries like this, and now carrying David Williams back towards the dressing rooms area, and we're led to believe, as his coach watches on, we're led to believe that it's the right shoulder and possibly down near the base of the neck, and that's the same area where Simon Dwyer, the West Tigers player, attracted similar urgency, you might remember.
Well, this is precaution. I mean, it'll hopefully look a lot worse here at the moment than it is. They don't take any chances whatsoever when a player reports that he's got some neck problem or some sort of nerve damage or burning or that sort of thing. So well done to the Manly medical staff. Well done to the players, who, particularly the Melbourne Storm players, who secured him. And once he leaves the field, for the players out there, that'll be forgotten and they'll just get on with business.
And business's first tackle against Manly held up. So they'll come back to the 10-metre line and still have 5 more attacking chances as Tony Williams in jersey 17 makes his way to the right-hand side of the field.
Jamie! Dutch, tell him to pick it up. That's one. Hold, go.
So here it is. Play resuming after the treatment has been handed out to David Williams. And Tony Williams is on now. Brent Kite it is who'll play the ball 25 metres out, centre of the ground. Ballon giving it to Lassick, and Lassick taken up the top by a couple of the Melbourne Storm players. Proctor involved, so was Smith, so was Hinchcliffe. Here's Foran, and Foran back to Brett Stewart. He got rid of the attempted tackle from Duffy, and eventually he's pulled down by Duffy because Jason had made the original tackle. Foran now across to Rodney, and Rodney is held 12 metres out, then spun onto his back. 5 tackles gone Manly. Ballon for Cherry Evans, and Cherry Evans got a little kick on it. It's picked up by Hinchcliffe, and he'll play the ball 12 metres out from his own line.
And maybe no surprise as Lassick shapes up to Hinchcliffe and they throw them.
So they come in from all parts of the ground now, and punches are still being thrown.
Well, that's quite extraordinary. There was a little bit of push and shove, but then all of a sudden they let them go. And they're still cuddling, these two. Look at this, they won't stop the embrace.
That's a loving Blair and Stewart, Glenn Stewart.
He's got another one, he's got him on the ground.
It's Adam Blair and Jamie Lyon.
I'm pretty sure first up it's Lassick and Hinchcliffe.
You're right.
I think Darcy would have the reach.
Well, there's a little elbow to the chin. Lassick slaps him across the head. Up they get, little push and shove, little push and shove, little push and shove. Whack. Let's go.
And after the break, it was the worst set of 6 that Manly have come up with. So not surprisingly, poor option at the end of it from, Adam Blair, the big uppercut there.
Well,
Yeah, Adam Blair goes. Just take a one, mate. Just take a one.
The clock hasn't stopped yet.
Yes.
Just as well it hasn't. We'd be here till midnight.
Yes.
What are they going to do here, Rabbits?
Yeah.
Just listen.
Where's Glenn?
Let's listen to what Constable Hayne has got to say.
Thanks, mate.
It was originally a Melbourne penalty for him to play the ball.
The first thing I got, he's reacted to something that's happened. Okay, so he's the reactor. Glenn's come running a distance as well to get involved in it as well. He's run a distance to try and punch us.
Okay, and who we got from over here?
Well, we've got Ryan Hinchcliffe originally.
Just don't need reacting, okay? We'll look after that. So there.
I've got Ryan Hinchcliffe. I've got Adam Blair who's come in front and punches as well. Thanks, man.
Penalty's going against him, okay? For the elbow first. That's why he is retaliating. Even though...
An elbow?
Yeah. Okay, even though that was time was off raised the other. Yeah. Even though we've blown the penalty initially for him, this is prior foul play, okay? So he's got elbow penalties against him, okay? That's what the penalty's for. That's all now. Thanks, Ryan. Go away. Where's Adam? Adam Blair? Adam?
I hope Blair and Stewart stay on.
I was on the ground, mate. I was on the ground. Okay, I was just on the ground. Okay. You'd come running a distance to throw punches. You'd run in as well. So you go for 10. Way you go, Glenn. Way you go, Glenn. Way you go, Glenn.
Well, Blair might as well start walking because he's not going to stay there. They send him off separately.
You think he might as well get on his bike?
He might as well get going. Yeah, see him.
There he goes. Well, they start peddling at him. So it was Adam Blair and Glenn Stewart in an embrace of the century. And they're still... Hang on. We better stay... Oh, it's on again! It's on again! Glenn Stewart and Adam Blair. Here come the reinforcements. Now they've come from the bench as well.
Well, we knew there was rivalry.
Well, that takes me back to a couple of blokes that got sent off in a test match in Brisbane many years ago. Was it Greg Dowling and a fella called Tomato or something? They got off the field and then they carried it on.
Yeah, Kevin Tamati. Now, I'm wondering if there'll be a send-off here instead of a sin bin.
This is going to look ugly on replay. Just not the fact that the two fellas decided to go for it before leaving the field, but here we go. What's this?
There's some players running on. I don't get their numbers.
Plenty of punches thrown, but none of them seem to connect.
What's the players running in now? Look at the Manly players coming.
Just go down there, just down the way, over there. Just down the way.
Take your guys back there, mate.
Now everyone does.
Yeah, it's ordinary.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to sort this out.
Well, here they come now, the combatants.
Well, I think they're sent off. I think they'll get marched here, and you cannot have the bench coming in over the sideline. So that's crazy stuff.
I'll hold him. Kevin, you deal with him. Stay here. Mate, he threw it first. Mate, what am I supposed to do? Just stand there. That's fine.
They're still at each other.
He goes now. You're gone. There you go.
He's sent.
So Glenn Stewart has been sent. And as we said earlier, Adam Blair is about to be sent.
Jamie, go up.
Yeah.
Go to Shane, please.
Well, I haven't seen anything. Well, I think I have. I've seen it before, but
You've retaliated
in this modern era, nothing like this. There goes Blair.
Well, that's a waste. They'd like their last few minutes over, wouldn't they, those two? What a waste.
When something does that happen, we don't know where the contact was, okay? Next time, don't come in running throwing punches in that situation. I understand your frustration, okay? We're going all the way back up here for the penalty now. No, that's a report. That's all.
Shane
okay?
just giving a reprimand to Brett Stewart, and Brett Wally, you're sitting right on top of it, in fact.
Yeah, it was right in front of us.
In fact, you might have been amongst it.
I can make sure I stayed away from that. Here's the incident. The punches were being thrown, but obviously it was an opportunity for Glenn Stewart to get square from the brawl that took place just a few moments before. The decision being made by the referees, they were actually watching it taking place on screen. They didn't know much about what was going on. It astounds me that Adam Blair, he's basically been sent off for getting punched in the head. What has he done? Headbutted the fist of an opponent.
Well, I guess Brett Stewart's reaction is more brotherly love than manly love.
That's what he said to Shane Hayne.
Yeah.
He said if he was your brother, you'd react the same way. And Hayne said, I can understand.
Yeah.
I can understand your point of view, but you can't do that. Now they get a penalty and they'll take a shot at goal.
Well, 12 on 12. It seems like an age since we had any football at all with the David Williams injury and then this ruckus and the aftermath. We've had probably a minute's football in the last 25 minutes. Crikey.
Well, I was kind of hoping that all the players would have been out there after the initial incident and harsh speaking too. In the end, I've got no sympathy.
Jamie Lyon takes the 2 points then for Manly, pushes them to this 8-0 lead, and believe it or not, we've had 27 minutes of football. What time did we start? Can anybody tell me how long since we sat down? "40 minutes. We've been sitting here for 27 minutes of football." All right.
Well, what happens now? 12 on 12. Who has the advantage? Gee whiz. Slater and Stewart come into play now, don't they?
I think Manly suffer more with Glenn Stewart, how influential he is, especially with the football for Manly. Adam Blair's an outstanding player, but I think Melbourne cover him better maybe than Melbourne do G. Stewart.
This is Lasek. He was involved early on when that penalty was against Hinchcliffe. The David Williams injury, by the way, was 16 minutes ago in the 23rd minute. So we've had 4 minutes of football in about 23 minutes of time. Cherry Evans plays that ball. This is Lasek, and he's right on the halfway line. It's 8-0 in favour of Manly. Where do you start to analyse this game? Here is Slater running to Matai, passing to Duffy, and Duffy is down to the 40-metre line, his own end of the ground.
Well, I was hoping for the unexpected coming here tonight, Ray. I think we've got that.
Well, you've got a bag full of it, Peter.
We've got a blood bin here for Darcy Lasek.
See, the thing is, when Williams went across the line and got the injury, Manly was so far on top and the Storm was showing signs of fatigue. Well, that fatigue's all gone now. You start the game again. All of a sudden it's 12 on 12, bigger spaces, bigger gaps. Manly have had dominance but only lead by the 8 points. Bizarre. I can't believe them two boys doing that.
Slater then hitting them on the right side, and Champion not getting the ball. It's with Jason, and a penalty to Melbourne. It's against Watmo.
Yep, go.
Holding down.
Let's kick him, mate.
That's the penalty. Watmo not making any endeavour to roll away. This is Woolno now playing it inside the 20-metre line. To Smith. Melbourne started the game almost parked down in this part of the ground for about 3 minutes. This is their first visit there for half an hour. Ball is loose on the ground and knocked on by Nielsen. Origin player knocking on out there. 20 metres out.
All right, Rabbits, question without notice, I guess, and I suppose there's still pending inquiry, but Stewart and Blair, Glenn Stewart and Adam Blair, Do they get suspended for this, or is send-off sufficient? I mean, is it just... I mean, they've thrown a few punches, I know, but is it worth a extra suspension of extra weeks?
It's a very tough question to answer, but I think somewhere along the line they'll be thinking about bringing the game into disrepute more so than throwing punches. That's what I think you might find will be considered more than the punching. Now George Rose goes on. Big George joins in.
It's pretty popular as well. I looked down to see what was happening, and it was George. Gorgeous George.
He's bigger than Tink.
I like the look of George. He's refreshing. He shows you that you don't have to be cut like an Olympic sprinter to play this game. Him and Piggy Riddell and maybe Sam Thaiday a little bit. Here is Watmo getting the ball back for Shane Rodney. Rodney goes up the middle. He beats Proctor. He beats another. It was Slater. And now it's cost Jason making the tackle. Great run there by Rodney. Here's Foran going back to Kite, and he gets the ball over to Cherry Evans. And Cherry Evans is away from Cameron Smith and also Lowry. Brett Stewart, Steve Maddai. He'll play the ball 10 metres out from the line. Robertson passes, Foran gives it, Kite is with it. And Brent Kite is met there by Lowry. Right in front of the uprights. 8-0 in favour of Manly. Foran puts a kick in. Going across is Slater. And Slater is grasped in goal. Another line drop out for Melbourne.
Beautiful kick. Good stuff. Keeping his head about him, Kieran Foran. And a bit of tiredness in the Melbourne defence. Wonderful break from Shane Rodney. He's been tremendous tonight so far for Manly. Backed up by a good little run from Cherry Evans to set something up down the left-hand side, and then that man there, Kieran Foran. He had a looked for the best option, and the kick was the one again.
Smith from underneath the bar. It's another wonderful drop kick. 50 metres down to Foran, and Brent Kite goes back, and he's pulled down 35 metres out by Woolnough together with Hinchcliffe. Now it's with Foran. Over to Steve Maddai on the left side. Manly's left side attack, #1 ranked in the game. Played by Maddai. Back for Robertson. Now to Foran, then for Rose. And George is held about 12 metres out from the line. Playing it to Matt Ballon. Here is Cherry Evans with it now. He held it back and gave it to Shane Rodney. He's put down and tackled by Hinchcliffe. Manly though, warming. Jamie Lyon gets over the line.
Forward pass, right?
Did he? Oh, it's a forward pass.
Wow.
A forward pass denies Jamie Lyon. The ball from Cherry Evans.
Yeah, you watch a game and you feel like, oh, that pass was forward. That didn't feel forward to me. That felt like a beauty. It was a cutout pass. Let's have a look at Lyon. Oh, I don't even know if he got it down. But I thought the pass wasn't too bad.
So Melbourne off the hook again. Duffy coming away from dummy half and running it at Watmo and Ballon. He'll play it inside the 30-metre line for Cameron Smith to give it to Adam Woolnough. He takes it ahead. Ball goes back and across for Widdop now. No Cooper Cronk again tonight. As Cameron Smith passes to Hinchcliffe, and it goes on then to Sikamanu. Right on the halfway line, they keep going down the short side. Nielsen back for Smith. Behind Manu to Widdop. Widdop to Slater. And Slater it is that jinks a little bit before giving it to Proctor. Proctor's gone inside the 30-metre line. He'll play it outside the 20 to Cameron Smith. Now to Slater. Puts a kick in. Looking for another set, but it's gone over the dead ball line. Jamie Lyon taking a quick tap at the 20-metre centre. Cherry Evans is with the ball. Last time 2 players were sent off was round 2, 2008 at Olympic Park. Brett White and Ben Ross. Storm versus Sharks. Tony Williams plays the ball. Rodney gives it to Rose. And he'll play the ball on the halfway line.
It's mandatory now, Ray, for the crowd to boo from a quick restart, 20-metre restart, whether the defence has gone back or not. The home crowd just boo. Which is great.
Yeah, offsides.
Oh, hang on, we've got
Watmoe and Hinchcliffe having a little bit of a disagreement.
There's Rodney again. He's been magnificent in the opening 35 minutes of this game.
Now Jamie Lyon, he holds it back and draws them, gets it to Tony Williams. Ballon got hands to it. It's gone back to Williams, he'll score. Tony Williams scores for Manly.
Yeah, great decision here from Jamie Lyon. Ran the ball to the line. Looked like he might have kicked, but he thought, no, I've got a chance for Tony on the outside. I'll give it. So he drew and passed. And down a short corridor, the big man on the outside. He attracted 2 defenders there to Jamie Lyon. Passed back to Matt Ballon, went behind. He knocked it back into the path of Williams. And a good burst of speed takes him over next to the post. And that is a big 6 points in the last 5 minutes of this first half for the home team.
Yeah, but it's deserved, isn't it? I mean, this will now reflect the scoreline that I think is representative of what I've seen in the first half. Manly have been dominant, they've been better. They've easily been a 2-try better team, and now they've got them. So the 14-0 scoreline will be reflective of the football that we've seen. And to be honest, Melbourne Storm, for all their courage in defence and all their technique, really haven't been in this contest yet. The home side's really on top.
Beautiful piece of work by Jamie Lyon. He fooled them, he drew them, and then Tony Williams off a little juggle from Matt Ballon. And now Jamie converts the try scored by that fellow, Tony Williams. 14-0. Wally Lewis sideline.
While the Sea Eagles are celebrating, the Storm players are protesting. They are actually saying that the ball travelled forward. It was knocked forward, it went forward a metre or 2 before it was picked up and collected for another 4 points. Gee, it's a line ball decision on that, but what you've got to pay credit to Manly for is their determination in attack. They've got 4 or 5 players available to collect any pass that's thrown. Simply too good at the moment.
Yeah, I know the point you're making, Wal, and I think you're absolutely right. That's what Melbourne were protesting about. I thought it came off Ballon, that went forward, but he caught it himself before giving it back. And that's not a knock-on. If you retrieve the ball before it hits the ground or an opposing player or the upright or a spectator, it's not a knock-on. And he didn't deflect the ball forward to gain an advantage. That's my understanding of the rules, and I'm quite happy with it. Quite happy with what I saw. It went off the hand of Ballon, then he deflected it back to an onside player. I can't see where there's a knock-on there. And he didn't propel the ball forward to gain an advantage. Not deliberately anyway. Play by Watmoe near the halfway line. Cherry Evans it is, who drives it down. Slater brings it back. Back to the 30-metre line. He comes to Jamie Lyon. He's been somewhat of a star tonight, Jamie Lyon. That's not a strange role for him either, is it? Buildup will play it. Now Anthony Quinn. We've got 12 on 12. We're coming up to the break. It has been a half of football that I don't think you could analyse it in the time we're going to be provided with. Even from the kickoff, it was sensational, almost unbelievable. The try for Foran at the 5th minute. Just sensational. Might have been the try of the year. Then the injury to David Williams. Certainly not a highlight. But then the brawl. Not one brawl, but another brawl. And here's Jamie Lyon with the ball.
He's been good, hasn't he?
Well, I think he's been quite outstanding. Tony Williams losing it, and it's Melbourne with Manu to the 20-metre line.
Only 30 seconds to go.
Cameron across to Woolnow. Woolnow to the 10-metre line. Retired from the game a couple of years ago. Pulled back as Smith gives it to Hinchcliffe. 15 seconds of the first half remaining. Now Smith goes away to Woolnow, and Woolnow arched over the line. 5 seconds to go. Cameron Smith goes back deep. He gets it to Widdop. Widdop to Slater. Slater goes deep. Cross Jason's been hit there by Robertson. It was a tackle that had to be made by Michael Robertson, and he did.
Oh, it's a great tackle right on the stroke of half-time, and that really got the Manly fans on their feet. That is the culmination of the most bizarre, extraordinary, controversial and exciting first 40 minutes we've ever seen. The fact that it took an hour and a half.
It took you an hour and a half to describe it. Well, it's a top-of-the-table clash, and it's lived up to that expectation. Then some more, and some more again, and again. Wally and Peter will have all the first half action for you that we can cram in to the Toyota halftime. You're watching Friday Night Football live and for free on the home of the Olympic Games, Channel 9. Welcome back to Brookvale, where the battle subsided there during that halftime break. It might be my imagination. Did they make that a longer halftime than normal? 14-0 down Melbourne. I think they've only been behind a couple of times. Back in round 10, I remember they were behind at halftime. And then I think against Parramatta they might have been as well. I don't know whether this has been memorable or forgettable. I was just talking to the boys in the box about some of the big eruptions that I've seen in rugby league. In 78, an Amco Cup match, Norse and Newtown. But there have been many. George Piggins and Malcolm Reilly, I seem to recall putting on a nice stink at the cricket ground one day. That erupted. The 73 grand final, Cronulla and Manly. What was that match that Mark Broadhurst he got involved in? Was that 81 semi-final?
81 semi-final, Newtown and Manly.
Anyway, Manly kicks off with a 14-point lead into the second half with Woolnow bringing it back.
Sounds like Manly were all those rabbits.
They might have been the common denominator, you're quite right. Here's Hinchcliffe, who's played, I won't say a starring role, but he seems to have got involved in most of the eruptions tonight. And this is Manu with the ball. Melbourne then running towards the northern end as Cameron Smith delivers a ball to Gareth Widdop. And Widdop will play the ball. And he's lost it! So the scrum will go down just on Manly's side of halfway. Brett Stewart's not on the field. Wal, can you help me there?
Yeah, he's not coming back for the rest of the night. He's got some knee trouble going on, but the injury list just gets longer for Manly. Joe Nullavow, he may not be back for the rest of the night either. But David Williams, he's just gone to hospital. He said that he felt his head go into the sternum of an opposing player. He heard a bit of a crack, felt some pins and needles down one side of his body. They're gone now, which is the good news. He's feeling a little bit more comfortable, but it's just precautionary x-rays coming up at the hospital.
Well, if there is some good news, that's the good news. Well, thank you for that. I'm always mindful of a player's family watching pictures on TV, and I think Gus said it. It's very much a case of handle with care, carry with care, and that's what they did. And the news on him, David Williams, now is much brighter.
And right, with Brett Stewart still in the sheds, Michael Robertson back to fullback, and a penalty to Manly here. Jamie Buhrer has gone out onto the left wing. We saw him play in the centres up on the Central Coast against South Sydney earlier in the season. Buhrer, a versatile player. There's a decision about to be made here with Daly Cherry Evans finding touch just outside the 20.
There's no doubt that Kieran Foran's the boss out there, is there? Every time there's a penalty or a decision to be made, they all wait to hear what Kieran has to say.
There's Cherry Evans with the ball. No better example than what we just saw a little bit back as he puts a kick into the in goal, and again Slater is forced to bat it dead.
This kid, Kieran Foran, is all class. Now think about this for a minute. That's tackle one, or tackle none. No tackle had been made yet, but as soon as the ball comes wide, he doesn't think about it, and he puts in one of those grubber kicks that's bending back towards his own teammates. You know, he just sees it and he does it. No fear, no hesitation. He's a real footballer.
He learnt that kick off Joe Nulliver.
I dare say Joe learned it off him.
Here's the drop out from Cameron Smith. He's had plenty of practice tonight. Brent Kite carries it back, passes at the line, floats it over to Matai. And Matai will play the ball 25 metres away from the Melbourne line. Bura dummy half, Watmo and then Kite. Kite held down by Woolno as long as he possibly could. Here's Foran attacking the blind side. 12 metres out. Ballon gets himself into dummy half again. Watmo coming across the ground. Back to George Rose. Rose gets rid of Manu, gets the ball away. Rodney, Lyon, and then Tony Williams. Williams tackled about 3 metres out from the line. Play over on the western side. It's gone away and it's gone on through Ballon. It's found Foran. Foran gets it away to Kite now. Kite gets it over to Matai. It's gone on to Bura. And Bura's flung over the touchline.
Nice football, good defence. They were stretched on both sides of the field, but they didn't panic the Melbourne Storm. You've got to keep giving the credit for the way they turn up, but it's a really confident and an aggressive Manly team tonight. Ball movement is crisp.
I've never seen Sikamanu pushed off the way George Rose just got rid of him. And then the pass goes to Tony Williams. There's a trifecta for you. Some big men going together there. George, the big fend. And eventually into the arms of Tony Williams as Melbourne now bring it out from their own end, get forced back towards their 10.
Here's Manu taking it ahead, and he's met ironically by George Rose, and he picks him up and drives him back into the ground. Cameron Smith passing to Woolno, and Woolno is met by Rodney and Cherry Evans, and again Big George could have probably been penalised for a flop. Manu's with it now. Out to the 40-metre line. Kite down around the legs. Up the top was Ballon. Here's Cameron kicking out from dummy half, and it's gone dribbling away to the 10-metre line. Michael Robertson to bring it back. So Brett Stewart and Glenn Stewart both out of the game. Glenn sent off. Nullivar back on the benches. Brett Stewart not returning with an injured knee following half-time. Adam Blair sent off at the same time as Glenn Stewart. And maybe we saw the most remarkable of tries here tonight, which was scored by Kieran Foran. It paid $15 on TAB Sportsbet, the first try tonight. 15, their own side of halfway, Manly. Watmo running it at Widdop. And Woolno's down around the legs, right on the halfway line. Ballon goes up to Jamie Lyon. He puts the kick down the ground. It's fielded over there by Duffy. Duffy with Slater in close attendance. Slater's got the ball. And a cutting tackle by Matai. Down around the bootlaces. Here is Champion now. 25 metres out from his own line. Adam Woolno coming from the field. Cost Jason is with it. 31 metres away. But again, we see a Melbourne player on attack being driven back by this Manly defence, which is really vigorous, aggressive. Play by Hinchcliffe. Smith gives it on to Slater. Flying through the air is Foran, putting a bit of pressure on Slater's kick. Stops down on the 20-metre line. Robertson brings it back. Chased down by Norrie.
A couple of earlier kicks in the set from Melbourne in this second half. The first from Cameron Smith. That one not picking up the distance they would have liked as Tony Williams goes across field. Sisawanga still the only player not to have been used in this game, and he wasn't used by Craig Bellamy last week. He went with 16 against the Dragons. You would think with the circumstances tonight, used somewhere.
Well, there he is. Wanga still hasn't seen action. He's been sitting on the bench now for more than a game and a half. Might start to get a bit of a complex if they don't give him a run shortly. Cherry Evans drilling it over the sideline. Gee, you know, this combination of Cherry Evans and Foran, they've been thrown together this year and everybody was confident, but they're playing with such confidence. They're playing like they've been together for donkey's years.
Well, you wait till they've been together for donkey's years. I can't imagine what it'll be like in 4 or 5 years' time when these kids are at their peak, having played together all that time, provided they're injury-free, and we certainly hope they are. But this is, I think, a real legendary combination in the making.
It's a decision-making as much as anything, Ray. Like, first year in for Daly Cherry Evans, and he's got a relative rookie alongside him in Kieran Foran. You're entitled to make some poor decisions, but there hasn't been too many of them. The other thing you like about him is that there's no fear in that decision-making or the physical way they play. Kieran Foran plays like a back rower when he runs his football.
The other kid's strong too. The other kid is strong in both departments of our game. This is Proctor for Melbourne to the 30-metre line. Sunday football, we've got another big one coming up for you. It'll be, I reckon, a house full at Suncorp. We're close enough to it. Champions tackled now. Broncos and Rabbitohs from Suncorp on Sunday at 4 o'clock. Telecast time. Here's Billy Slater down, bouncing up again. Tri-Nations Rugby, of course, tomorrow night from the same venue at 7:30. You'll see that on 9 as well.
Oh, nice take. Steve Maddai plucked it out of the air. Cameron Smith kicking low and hard. Maddai well positioned. He's trying to create an overlap. Jamie Lyon bats it on to Tony Williams, and it's called okay.
Well, that's, I reckon, about the second time I've seen that tonight off kick reception. Maddai did that on the other side of the field in the first half, and that's an unbelievable risk on tackle 0.
Nielsen making the tackle on Kite. Jamie Lyon going into first receiver again. Watmo. He'll play the ball a couple of metres into Melbourne's territory. And a penalty goes to Manly. Holding down again as the ruling.
And they're enjoying the ascendancy in that department as well. 4-1 the penalty count at the moment with half an hour to go in this game. If Melbourne would be any chance, they need to be next to score.
Eels and Roosters coming up for you immediately after this game. They're playing, of course, for the Jack Gibson Cup, which serves to remind people of schizophrenia. Eels and Roosters from Parramatta after this game. So here is Foran going to Rose. 22 metres out from the Melbourne line. And here is Maddai from blind side to open side. Short to Cherry Evans. Lossick! A metre from the line. The tackler was Cameron Smith with a help from Dane Nielsen. Cherry Evans looked for the big pass. Got obstructed by Shane Rodney. Then he goes dancing back. Fends away from Smith and is taken by Proctor. Play by Cherry Evans. Ballon to Watmo. Watmo to Hinchcliffe, who puts him down. So Watmo plays it, Ballon gives it, Foran to the short side, and Slater came out of the in goal and cleaned it up. Confident take. Dangerous but confident. This was the kick, and then Billy comes charging out of the in goal. So this is Quinn, held just outside the 20-metre line. Cost Jason a dummy half. Cameron Smith at first. Widdop at second. And Widdop is taken just inside the 30-metre line. The 16th clash of Hasler and Bellamy, and Hasler's won one more.
That's fine. Jamie up. Finished.
Clearing kick from Widdop.
And again, it is Steve Maddai who'll take this. He's actually pushed out onto that left wing and pushed Jamie Burer 2 in. York brings it back just shy of the halfway line.
I mentioned in that match in the start of the year, round 1 at Amy, Lyon was gone, injured before half-time as Tony Williams makes another impression. And Maddai didn't play. Hinchcliffe got pushed away. Here's Ballon teasing them as he runs it to the line. From Robertson has gone to Rose. George with momentum. 15 out from the line. Melbourne's in a bit of trouble here. Cherry Evans to Lussick. 2 metres out on tackle 5. Cherry Evans out to the left. That's him. 2 passes, finding Foran. He puts a kick in. Duffy under pressure. And Duffy comes out to restart from the 20-metre line.
Well, that was a poor kick from Kieran Foran. Plenty of good ones tonight, but that gave his chasers no chance and an easy out for the Melbourne Storm. Time ticking away against them. They need to score 3 times to get in front in this game. And they're yet to get down in the opposition 20.
Nice, mate.
Smith using Norrie. Norrie's able to make good metres. 11 or 12 metres as Nullival prepares to come back into the game. And Melbourne getting a penalty.
You get a feeling that this is an opportunity they need to take full advantage of. Somehow got to get points out of this rare attacking raid. So we'll see what may... Second time he's been penalised for play the ball infringement.
Hinchcliffe. There's Norrie running close off his dummy half. Smith playing the ball 8 metres out from the line. Cameron Smith to the right side. Slater comes in, lofts a pass out to Duffy. Duffy comes back, runs a bit of a semicircle, then goes back towards the corner post. Duffy to play the ball. Close to the line, tackled by Foran. Cost Jason. Cameron Smith. Now Slater. Slater's gone through the tackle of Rodney and got the ball back to a trailing support play from Cameron Smith. Slater a dummy half, then to Widdop, and oh, Manu! It's come off his head.
They want to have a look.
Check if he's onside.
See if Slater's onside. It's not a knock on off his head. There's slaps around. Billy Slater's a man who flies through.
He's offside. That's something.
Fundamentally, I don't like it, but
I think you'll find it's the only thing that's got Shane Hayne concerned. Is he onside?
yeah.
I think you're offside.
Well, Slater was a dummy half, was he not? Be hard for Slater to be onside unless he backtracked quickly and then.
Let's check it. We'll check it. What do you reckon?
Was he a dummy half?
Not as quick as you.
Yeah, he is. He's at dummy half. So unless Slater backs up all the way, let's have a look.
Yeah, if he's onside.
Ball comes up, hits him in the head. Slater's a mile.
He's offside.
He's a mile.
Yeah, it's a good piece of commentary there, Gus. Slater was the dummy half. He had to be offside.
Yeah.
And it's a good piece of refereeing because Shane Hayne was the first one to say, hang on a moment, this is not a knock on off the head. Where was Slater though?
So in the end, it's just an outstanding Falcon.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it's a no try because I fundamentally have a problem with this not being a knock on.
And we will come back with the Manly possession. We certainly don't need any more looks because Billy Slater's only 2 metres in front of the posts.
We're having a look to see if the 12 ran him onside now. Oh my God. Just blow the penalty and let's get on with it.
Russell Smith has got a reputation of giving it an extra piece of scrutiny.
This game could finish at midnight.
Well, what's he looking for? He hits his head there. Slater's miles in front of him. Now, I think what he's worrying about is whether or not he runs him onside. Well, he can't run him onside. Please. He better not award this, Rabbits.
No, it can't be awarded.
He was having us on.
You don't know Russell.
I wonder what he was looking at.
I don't know.
And penalty goes to Manly now. Taking their time. everything in their favour, most notably the scoreboard and the clock. It's a nice kick from Daly Cherry Evans. He picked up optimum metres there.
It's a very good question. You know, what was he looking at?
Well, I think he was looking to see whether or not he ran Slater onside.
Yeah, that's. I'm told that that's what he was looking for, but I would have thought it was pretty obvious to everybody. And this is Shane Rodney again with a bulking run. Wally sideline.
Rabs, we're 15 minutes into the second half, and I've got to say that last set of 6 from the Storm was the first time that we've seen any creativity in their attack in the second half of this game. They really are missing Cooper Cronk at the moment as the penalties continue to go against them. Joe Nullavow, of course, he's back on. He's taken over from George Rose.
Joe, of course, I won't say poleaxe. There it is. It's got some help from Brian Norrie. But Joe was out on his feet. He's come back, so that's a good trick. He resembled Richard Fayoso a little bit as he was wobbling around in the middle of the ground. This is Lussick. And it's a good run from Lussick.
Oh, I love this kick.
So he plays it 8 metres away. Cherry Evans for Nullavow. Nullavow 3 metres out from the Melbourne line. Cherry Evans again. Here's Lussick again. Nielsen and Quinn. He's got the ball to line. Williams! Tony Williams gets his second try.
And nice work on his inside. They had a little bit of luck with the ball going to ground, but Jamie Lyon again read the situation perfectly. Lussick has gone very, very close to scoring himself tonight on a couple of occasions. Gets in between players, pops it out, bounces nicely, and line on to Williams. Simply done.
Listen to the crowd. They're loving this. I'll just let you listen to it. This crowd, delirious. They kept them to 0 in the 2008 Grand Final. They're 18-0 up. And they're heroes from the Peninsula. Driving the wedge even deeper. Tony Williams 2 tries. 36th minute and the 57th minute.
And an opportunity for Jamie Lyon to put them outside the 3 converted try lead. Melbourne trailed Parramatta 18-0 4 games ago. On that one 22-18, but different opposition. A bit different circumstances, but he would love this one to go over Jamie Lyon.
Just outside the 20-metre line. Will he squeeze it through? No, it's come off the steel work and bounced away.
Lovely work here again. Lussick on the Keno replay got the ball away. Lyon just cool. Tony Williams didn't have much to do, but that's what wingers do sometimes. They just have to do the simple stuff after all the other fellas have done the brilliance. That grand final you're talking about, Rabbits, where they were held to 0, Melbourne Storm, was in fact the last time they were ever held to 0. Back in the 2008 grand final was the last time the Storm finished the 80 minutes with nothing to show for their efforts.
Hinchcliffe's in the middle of this again, but nothing said. Nullavow plays the ball. Bureau's with the ball. Penalty against Melbourne. Never onside is the ruling. 7-2 the penalties in favour of Manly.
And I think a few NRL coaches will go to school on this game and have a look at the way Manly have handled Melbourne Storm tonight. The aggression and the confidence of the ball movement, the power of the running. And they have dominated their opponents.
Cherry Evans for Nullavow. Those of you with some superstitions, the Storm had a chance to wrap up officially the minor premiership tonight, chasing down their 13th straight win. There's that number again. Matai hit hard by Lowry, driving up the field with Duffy. Now from Ballon back to Watmo. Watmo to the 40-metre line. He's taken by Widdop and Nielsen. Played back for Ballon. And now for Cherry Evans. This is Lussick with blood around the mouth still. Plays it on the 30-metre line down the middle. Hinchcliffe just give him a little bit of a rattle up, and he just let a little left hand go in the direction of Hinchcliffe again. That's Quinn put down close to the line, as you can see. Williams and Lyon. So I don't know whether Ryan Hinchcliffe has got a bit of Michael Ennis in him or not, but he's certainly upset a few people here. Is Norrie, and here he is. He's going to get a game. What's his name? Wonga, is it, Peter?
That's what we're running with. Andy Bureau does well on his own on the 20-metre defensive line to make a front-on tackle there. As Anthony Quinn coming a long way from this wing to get involved.
Quinn running into the shoulder of Lussick. So Wonga had been on the bench all last week and didn't get a run. Tonight he brings him on with about 18 minutes of the game to go. This is Michael Robertson, a 3-try grand final hero.
There's some war wounds there for Darcy Lussick. Anthony Quinn has actually been thrown into the middle of the field. There's Craig Bellamy with Wonga occupying the left flank.
Now Nulliver. They're running with confidence. Running with vigor. Here is Cherry Evans, shows it, and then decides to try and do it himself. He gets a ball back for Williams. He got rid of one. Now it's gone to Jamie Lyon. He's put down just outside the 20-metre line. So they go to the left side for Foran to go in for Watmo. The ball bounces away for Cherry Evans. It's gone to Jamie Lyon. He puts a kick in, looking for Tony Williams, and Slater's looking for the sideline. So this time Billy gets the bounce to favour him.
I wonder what Glenn Stewart and Adam Blair are thinking now that they've cooled down. They probably had a shower, got changed, and sitting in there and thinking, what the hell was I doing?
I'd love to know what was said.
Well, I still would like to know what was going on in that embrace that seemed to go for a long, long time. I mean, it was quite strange. We're in the middle of this big brawl, and they've embraced, clutched, and never let go. Now they've gone into touch over there. Lowry will break on Friday Night Football. Back in a moment. Strange part about it, I can't believe Glenn Stewart and Adam Blair would get involved in such misbehaviour. Back at Brookvale, and Darcy Lussick attracting the attention of the referee again. That blood still coming from the mouth area. He's been good.
If I told you I like that kid.
You've told us 5 times. Darcy Lussick. This is Bureau. Played on the halfway line. Nullivar. I don't know what Joe's taking, but my goodness, I wouldn't mind getting some of it. Here's Cherry Evans back for Shane Rodney. Manu was clutching at mid-air. Laterally, he was beaten, all ends up. Rodney might have just coughed this up. And that's the way the referee has seen it. He said, no. Loose carry, you coughed it up. It's a massive crowd, as I said, but the ground record of 27,000, it can't be reached because of the new configuration here at Manly. 20,414. And I don't think they could put another man, woman or child in here.
If they could put 27 in, they'd have got 27. There's any doubt about that. This was the Peninsula in Sydney. Sydney's North was coming out to give it to Melbourne tonight. Every man, woman and child.
Slater on the right side. Nice ball. Gone over to Duffy, but the defence slides across. Matai makes the tackle. Keep in mind, and probably is stating the obvious, they're playing against Melbourne, so if there's 20,414 here, 20,000 of them are Manly supporters.
That's right. The 27 you're talking about is a mistake again from Melbourne. I played in that game. It was in 1986. And there were plenty of Parramatta supporters who made their way across that particular afternoon. So it is all Manly here tonight. Just pockets of Storm supporters, obviously.
Poor old Cecil Wanga. He's sitting on the bench there for an hour waiting to be called into the action. He gets out there. He's all excited. And the first ball they throw him is an absolute shocker, and he knocks it on and dribbles it between his legs. And here it goes. Look at that ball bounces. Well, look at this. Why was I on the bench waiting for that?
Bureau to play it. Another penalty goes to Manly.
8-2 the penalty count. 8-2. Fair bit of talk in the press, I guess, about Melbourne Storm's tackling techniques and slowing down, and there's been very little tolerance from the referees tonight. 8-2 is a pretty dominant penalty count in anyone's language. Not all of them for holding down, of course.
Lussick it is who plays it on the 20-metre line. Cherry Evans finding Brent Kite. And Kite will play it 12 metres out from the Melbourne line. 18-0 in favour of Manly as they go away to the left side of the ground. Watmo it is who now will play the ball. Ballin turns it to Matai, again from left to right. Robertson, Lussick around the back. Cherry Evans, he throws one, a speculator. Shane Rodney's over the line, but he's held up in goal is the ruling from Gavin Badger.
They've used that switcher play well tonight, looking as though they're keeping the ball going the same way, and then switch it coming back across the play. The ball, nice ball from Lussick, quick hands. Rodney playing with a lot of strength tonight, Shane Rodney.
So here they come on the fourth tackle with Tony Williams. It'll leave them with just this one, so we can expect Foran to get the ball. No, it's Cherry Evans this time. And Cos Jason cleans up after Slater had a clean miss on it. Glenn Munsey's just told me that he hasn't changed the premiership betting. Watch this. Billy misread it, and it's cleaned up by Cos Jason. He's left Manly at $5.50 to win the premiership and left Melbourne at $3.25. I would have thought he would have been reducing Manly significantly and blowing Melbourne. TAB Sports Bet, they're the biggest, they're the best. You can bet on the premiership if you want to.
Yeah, it was always going to be of interest how this result was received. Of course, Cooper Cronk comes back into this Melbourne lineup, and we've got some unusual circumstances tonight.
20 metres out, Cherry Evans turning it in for Lussick. You've got me now, Gus. I'm just about to wrap him. He doesn't need me wrapping. Cherry Evans! Just away to the right.
Yeah, plenty of time. In fact, he probably had too much time. Just shaved the right hand upright. We have got a big game coming out of Suncorp on Sunday. Brisbane up against the South Sydney team on level points with Newcastle going into this weekend, and I'm making my way up there, but Ray, you're not. You're actually going to be the special host of the Sunday Footy Show from 11 o'clock this Sunday. Of course, that's always followed by the Sunday Roast, and one of your special guest hosts will be gorgeous George Rose.
He's what?
He's
Cost Jason.
He's heading into the Nine Network to sit in the seat at 11 o'clock, and good luck controlling Fittler and Johns.
Rabbits is hosting the Sunday Footy Show.
Slater.
He can do it all.
Came off the feet of Foran. He's got the ball back for Manly. It'll be all right. I think I'm on the same planet as Fittler and John.
Oh, no, you're not.
It'll be better than all right.
No, you're not. I give you a half hour with Fittler and Johns and you'll be saying, we're not in Kansas anymore.
I'll be all right.
You'll be in Wonderland, baby. Freddie World and Joey World.
All right.
And there's the special guest.
George, good on you, mate.
He'll be good.
You and I versus them. Kite.
Rabbits is hosting the Sunday Footy Show.
The Cootamundra kid and the kid from Junee up against Fittler and Johns. Now we'll get through it okay, I think. Now it's over to Cherry Evans. He drives it down the ground and it's going to go dead. Yes, it does. Peter's talking about Suncorp on Sunday, the South Sydney game against Brisbane. And of course, the interest centres, there's Lussick coming off, centres on whether Souths can make the 8. Will it be them? Will it be Newcastle? Next Friday night, I think we finish up at Newcastle for that game. The point I was going to make is Suncorp tomorrow night is host to the Tri-Nations match between Australia and New Zealand, and you'll see that on 9. So they're going to be working until about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to get the ground ready. Tomorrow night, 7:30 live from Suncorp, and then on Sunday, Rugby League at 4 o'clock.
And a forward pass from the Melbourne Storm here as we come into the final 10 minutes of this game. Not much going right. Well, that wasn't forward. Todd Lowry to Bow champion.
Over the top, seconds more. It's Manly seconds.
In the old days, once it went into Saturday, you got paid time and a half. How close to Saturday are we?
Well, I've been here since 3 o'clock. I called the schoolboy game today. So it's, and I was at work at 7 a.m. this morning, so it's been a long day.
Well, he's lost that one, George Rhodes. Crowd didn't like the tackle Billy Slater on Daly Cherry Evans. We'll take a break and be back. 18-0, home side in front.
Sunday Footy Show, I'm going to start doing the tries. Hoping it's George Rose.
Join on to each other, boys. Pull ourselves in. That's it. Nice. Point.
What was Cootamundra? And back at Brookvale with Adam Woolnough. Jamin Lona. David Middleton just telling me that George doesn't come from Cootamundra. Comes from Bathurst. So?
You haven't got Les Boyd in by any chance?
So? Bathurst and Junee versus Johns and Fittler. Now it's gone away to Cost Jason. On to Billy Slater. Inside ball for Proctor. Proctor back for Widdop. And Widdop not tackled, not held anyway. Offloading to Slater. Ball gone back now to Champion. Crowd groan as Foran makes the tackle on Champion. Back now for Cost Jason. Almost an air swing taken by Foran, who's taken by the kicker. Back inside his own 20-metre line. Maddai comes back, draws some attraction. Then for Jamie Lyon. And Warner is there to make the tackle with Nielsen. Tony Williams.
It'll be a welcome addition for Des Hasler going to finals football. Tony Williams has been out with injuries. And he's versatile and didn't have a lot to do for his second try tonight, but he's damaging here. He's going to create some impact as Anthony Watmo skips on the halfway line and loses a football backwards, cleaned up by Michael Robertson.
So he should restart the tackle count. He does. And Robertson will play it on his own 40-metre line. George Rose again. Buildup to the 30-metre line. Watmo. Here's Foran, put to ground. Ball goes with him. Now Buildup. And he comes off his 30-metre line. He's lost the ball. Manly grab it, but he's ruled that the tackle had been affected when the ball was knocked on. That's how I read it.
Yeah, he took his advantage. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, and ruled to have taken his advantage after the Manly mistake. Pass from Anthony Watmo put Kieran Foran under a lot of pressure. And Gareth Widdop ran far enough.
I don't know what to make of this. I mean, the second half is only 4-0 in favour of Manly. They have all the ball, all the penalties. I mean, Melbourne haven't done much other than just tackle grimly and not give up, which you anticipate from Melbourne. But I don't know. Manly have been really good in passages, very aggressive. They just haven't come up with enough points.
Here's Lyon. Got to fend and then got to pass away to Williams. Played near the touchline on the western side.
Yeah, it's getting scrappy, see. It's getting very scrappy.
Melbourne ball.
What do you make of this, Rabbits? What do you know?
I'm just totally impressed by Manly. The only question mark I've got left is how much difference would Cooper Cronk make to Melbourne?
Yeah, I don't think Melbourne can beat Manly again this year. That's my opinion. But I thought they'd come in here tonight. I thought that Manly would win comfortably tonight. Not in the circumstances we've seen, but I just get the feeling, or I've been waiting for the Melbourne bubble to burst. They're very well coached. They're so methodical. They're a terrific team. They try so hard. I just don't know about premiership winners for mine.
Yeah, I think Manly have really put a mark on this game, even put a mark on the premiership. And I think the gap between Manly and Melbourne, what I've seen tonight, they'd need 2 Cooper Cronks to narrow it. Here is Nielsen. Nielsen going across the ground. Slater straightens it up on the inside. Jason, and he's put down 30 metres out. Played for Hinchcliffe, and the pass goes back behind Slater, picked up by Proctor. Hinchcliffe going away to Widdop. Taken by Michael Robertson. And Michael out towards the 20-metre line. Good friends of mine having their 50th wedding anniversary, believe it or not, watching the football. Terry and Joy Nash. Have a nice night.
There's no better night out, Roberts.
Well, he could have taken her out for dinner, but anyway. That's him. That's my old mate. Played by Tony Williams now, and here's Brent Kite. 32 metres out from the Manly line. Here's Ballon running free up towards halfway. Middle of the ground. 18-0 in favour of Manly. Cherry Evans outside inside, and Robertson was there.
He's been fantastic tonight, Daly Cherry Evans. Steve Maddie looks for touch, took a deflection, so Sisawonga will keep it in after a little juggle backwards. But Cameron Smith, a bit of an early mark. Disappointing night for Cameron. But just on the Manly number 7, he's made some good decisions tonight and played tough. Both the halves have. But, this kid, he's only got a handful of games under his belt in relative terms.
I think the thing about Manly that we probably haven't said is that they've got class right across the park.
I like their aggression. I like their aggressive style.
Well, they've made ground without the football so many times tonight, but they have. You got to admit they've got class right across the park. They don't really depend, if you know what I mean, on a network that we talk about or a spine. They've all got their own claims to fame. Buildup, he's got a claim to fame, got it away to Hinchcliffe and back to him. And then he lets it go back on the outside. It's gone back. It's still play on this. Still play on. Lowe got it away. Picked up by Slater. Slater's gone inside 20. Slater's got 5 to go. Slater. He scores a try. Well,
It's still play on.
what a performance. In the dying stages, there was nothing left. Nothing left to be gained,
Well,
except some respectability.
well, they get on the board, and that'll be important to Melbourne. Perseverance here. They kept it alive. Some nice footwork in there on a couple of occasions. That pass knocked down by Cherry Evans. A little bit of a goose step there from Billy Slater. Accelerated him into the gap. Another gap. And Billy gets across. It may well be an 18-6 scoreline. Like Cameron Smith has left the field. Not quite sure who'll kick now, but
Maybe
I
Quinn.
think it's over. Gareth Widdop, I think, has grabbed the football.
On the 10-metre line, Gareth.
Well, I guess that's all part of the package with Billy Slater. When the situation is as forlorn as it was, and probably you're thinking about, well, we've been well and truly trounced. He just grabs every opportunity. Doesn't matter what the scoreboard says.
I guess adding merit to the man who win tonight, of course, is the other number one. Did not come back out for the second 40 minutes.
Exactly right, Peter. Exactly right. I mean, we keep talking about Cooper Cronk. Manly have played the second half without Brett. And here's the kick from Buildup, and it's well wide. So this match is over. It's an 18-4 victory to the home side Manly. Still, this season, unbeaten at Fortress Brookvale. And that's the way it will remain, with the Broncos coming up for them next Sunday in what will be one of our season blockbusters. Manly and Brisbane. In Brisbane. Last regular season game in Brisbane for Darren. Manly taking a victory over Melbourne with them to Suncorp next weekend. 18-4. Williams 2 tries. Tony, Kieran, Foran 1 try. Slater a try for Melbourne. Glenn Stewart and Adam Blair sent off. David Williams taken to hospital for scans on a shoulder and neck in one of the most remarkable games I've seen in the modern era. Just so much in this game to be covered in the postmortems. He hits it, he's got it!